If you were wandering through Ho Chi Minh City, you'd think everyone's on a secret mission to out-hustle the next guy. Scooters zip by like they're in a Formula 1 race, and street food vendors serve up bowls of pho so fast it's borderline Olympic-level performance. Today, Vietnam feels like it's sprinting into the future with no plans to slow down. Just 45 years ago, this same country was one of the poorest in the world. Decades of war, embargoes, and economic struggles. Enough to make even the toughest optimist throw in the towel. But today, guess what? This Southeast Asian dynamo has its sights set on becoming the richest country in the world. So, how does it plan to pull this off? For over 25 centuries, Vietnam's economy was a tranquil picture of agrarian life. Endless rice paddies, water buffalo chilling like they owned the place, and villagers so self-sufficient, they probably laughed at the concept of imports. Industrialization? Who needs factories when you have the Mekong Delta? Then along came the French in the 19th century with their baguettes and civilizing mission. They sliced Vietnam like a banh mi. The lush south became a rice and rubber jackpot, while the north's mountains got gutted for coal and minerals, only to feed French factories. Post-1954, Vietnam was like an awkward couple who'd split up but refused to move out. Communist North, capitalist South. The Red River Delta churned out collective farming, while Saigon played capitalist Vegas with American dollars. Cue the Vietnam War. Napalm, blockades, and an economy on life support. The North leaned on Soviet rubles, the South on US dollars, and both still collapsed. By the end, Vietnam's economy was nuked, mined, and left to simmer in the rubble of its rivers and rice fields. By the time it was all over in 1975, Vietnam's economy wasn't just struggling, it was in the ICU. With a GDP per capita limping along at $83 to $100, it was a global underdog in poverty rankings. While Tokyo's skyline was glittering and New York was flexing its financial muscles, Vietnam was grappling with the fallout of a brutal war and a centrally planned economy that seemed allergic to growth. The government said, hey, what if socialism had a little capitalism on the side? Enter the Doi Moi reforms. Launched in 1986, these reforms were Vietnam's bold pivot from a centrally planned economy to a market-orientated model with socialist roots still intact. This hybrid approach aimed to attract foreign investment, liberalize trade, and unleash private enterprise while keeping the state's grip on key industries. This honestly sounded like something dreamed up at a brainstorming lunch. But you know what? It worked. Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City transformed from sleepy relics of the past into buzzing urban powerhouses. The Mekong Delta, previously just the Rice Bowl of Vietnam, became a cornerstone of export-driven agriculture. Even the Red River up north started pulling its weight, and just like that, what seemed like a simple idea turned into a powerhouse of growth. Vietnam's economy isn't just growing, it's sprinting past some of the world's biggest players. Between 2010 and 2022, it averaged a jaw-dropping 6.5% GDP growth every single year. Seriously, it's leaving economic giants like India and Brazil in the dust. Today, Vietnam's GDP sits at an impressive $430 billion, a massive leap from the 1970s, when the country was still picking up the pieces from the devastating war. And don't even get me started on Vietnam's geography. It's basically prime real estate in Southeast Asia, stretching over 1,000 miles from north to south. It's bordered by China, Laos, and Cambodia, with the South China Sea off to the east. From the buzzing streets of Hanoi in the north to the neon-lit avenues of Ho Chi Minh City in the south, Vietnam's urban centers are the beating heart of non-stop economic activity. The transformation is particularly evident in cities like Da Nang, once known for its beaches and now emerging as a thriving economic zone. And it's not just the cities. Rural regions like the lush Mekong Delta are also making their mark with rice and agricultural exports. Though modernization is creeping in a bit slower here, but when you look at the contrast between Vietnam's past and present, it's jaw-dropping. A nation once defined by war has reinvented itself as a symbol of resilience and prosperity. And let's be clear, this shift didn't just happen by chance. The Doi Moi reforms in the 1980s opened the door to market-orientated policies, and now, well, the results speak for themselves. With trade deals spanning the globe and a population of over 98 million, Vietnam isn't just in the global economy, it's here to play and win. And it's got the coastline to back it up. Stretching over 2,000 miles, every inch of Vietnam's coast is pulling its weight. Ports like Haiphong in the north and Da Nang in the center are not just busy, they're integral cogs in the global trade machine. Haiphong alone handled over 100 million tons of cargo in 2023. If you think that's impressive, remember that it's just one of many ports lining Vietnam's golden shores. Strategically, Vietnam's location is a jackpot. Nestled next to the South China Sea, a waterway responsible for 30% of the world's maritime trade, Vietnam is sitting on a literal goldmine of shipping opportunities. From here, goods flow effortlessly to markets in East Asia, the Americas, and Europe. It's no wonder that global manufacturers are fighting for a slice of Vietnam's export pie. And it's not just cargo ships passing by. Tourists flock to coastal gems like Nha Trang and Phu Quoc, drawn by turquoise waters and white sand beaches. But this isn't just about tourism dollars. Vietnam's coastline is also home to thriving fisheries, providing livelihoods for millions and ensuring that the country remains one of the world's top seafood exporters. Vietnam has become the darling of global investors, and it's not hard to see why. With low labor costs, a hard-working population, and a government eager to roll out the red carpet for big businesses, the country is pulling in foreign direct investment at record levels. In 2023 alone, the country attracted a staggering $38 billion in FDI, making it one of the top destinations for international capital in Southeast Asia. Companies like Samsung, Apple, and Nike have made Vietnam their manufacturing base. In fact, Samsung's factories in Vietnam produce roughly 50% of the company's global smartphone supply. Think about that next time you're scrolling through Instagram on your Galaxy. Meanwhile, Apple has started shifting some of its AirPods and MacBook production to Vietnam as part of a broader strategy to diversify its supply chains. Key cities like Ho Chi Minh City and Hanoi are at the epicenter of this investment boom, but smaller industry hubs such as Binh Duong and Dong Nai are also seeing rapid development, with factories sprouting like mushrooms after rain. These areas are transforming from sleepy towns to bustling industrial zones, thanks to the influx of foreign cash. As tensions between China and the West escalate, companies are rethinking their reliance on Chinese manufacturing. Enter Vietnam, the poster child of the China Plus One strategy. The idea is simple: diversify supply chains by adding one more reliable manufacturing base outside China, and Vietnam's ticking all the right boxes. Vietnam's proximity to China is a logistical dream for businesses. It's just a short truck or ship ride away, making it an easy addition to existing supply chains. Cities like Haiphong and Hanoi have become extensions of the global manufacturing network, seamlessly integrating with operations in southern China. But Vietnam's appeal isn't just geographic. The country offers competitive labor costs, a fraction of what manufacturers pay in China, and a political climate that's relatively stable. Add in trade agreements with heavyweights like the European Union and the United States, and Vietnam becomes a no-brainer for companies looking to hedge their bets. For example, Nike now produces over half of its shoes in Vietnam, while Microsoft and Intel have ramped up their operations in the country. Even automakers like Toyota and Ford are eyeing Vietnam as a potential hub for regional assembly lines. The China Plus One strategy isn't just a trend, it's a tectonic shift in global manufacturing. If you think Vietnam's success is built on shaky foundations, think again. The country is pouring billions into infrastructure, and it's not just about fixing potholes. Take the North-South Expressway, for example, a mega project that spans nearly 2,000 kilometers and connects Hanoi in the north to Ho Chi Minh City in the south. Once complete, this road will slash travel times and turn Vietnam into a logistics powerhouse. And let's not forget Long Tan International Airport, under construction near Ho Chi Minh City. When finished, it'll be one of the largest airports in Southeast Asia, capable of handling 100 million passengers annually. Compare that to Vietnam's current airports, which are practically bursting at the seams, and you'll see why this project is a game changer. Ports too are getting a facelift. Haiphong and Cai Mep Thi Bai are modernizing at breakneck speed, with state-of-the-art cranes and deeper harbors to accommodate larger ships. This means faster trade and fewer delays, giving Vietnam an edge in the cutthroat world of global logistics. Vietnam's rise as a tech powerhouse? It's the kind of glow-up nobody saw coming, unless you've strolled through Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City lately. These cities are no longer just cultural gems, they're buzzing with startups that are putting Silicon Valley on notice. Take VGN Corporation, Vietnam's answer to Tencent. This gaming giant is making waves across Asia. Meanwhile, Hanoi's Cao Zay district and Ho Chi Minh City's district are buzzing with co-working spaces where fintech dreams and AI magic happen. Vietnam's internet speed outpaces Indonesia's, because what's a little tech rivalry between neighbors? Sure, it's not all smooth. A walk through these hubs might mean dodging motorbikes and potholes, but hey, progress isn't always glamorous. The real secret? It's Vietnam's people. With a literacy rate of over 95% and nearly 500,000 engineers entering the job market every year, the country's workforce is fueling a tech revolution. No wonder Samsung and Intel are all in. Even rural areas are getting in on the action, with STEM programs reaching remote regions. And tourism? Oh, it's thriving. From Ha Long Bay's epic limestone peaks to Hoi An's dreamy lantern-lit streets, Vietnam is serving up unforgettable experiences at prices that don't break the bank. Adding government ambitions to become a high-income green powerhouse by 2050, and Vietnam's future is as bold as its potential. But dreams this big come with risks. Will Vietnam's leaders stay to the course, or will corruption and mismanagement throw a wrench in the gears? Let us know what you think in the comments. If you found Vietnam's story fascinating, you'll love our video on how South Korea went from one of the poorest nations on Earth to a global economic powerhouse. Click here to watch it now. See you there.